Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another live stream, another live watch party. This time, one that came out of a big surprise because Toho released Godzilla Minus One on Netflix and on digital. So yeah, I actually wasn't planning to do this until... can y'all hear me? Check, check. Okay, y'all can hear me. Wow. I had that whole intro set up, ready to go. And then it just seemed like I screwed it all up by wondering if you guys can hear me or not. But anyway, yeah, this is Godzilla Minus One. Toho released this on Netflix and on digital just last weekend, actually, out of nowhere. And I originally wanted to save this live watch party for when the movie actually came out on Blu-ray, hopefully through the Criterion Collection, but I put it up for a vote on YouTube, wondering if you guys wanted me to wait until physical media or you just wanted me to do it right now. And 110 people voted. Y'all asked to do it sooner than later, so here we are. And right now, speaking of the people, we only have 6 people in the chat right now. Hopefully more show up. We got Spiders Prime, Selena, Ryan, Sanark. Again, I'm so sorry that I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Senyark. I hope I pronounced that right. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. Hopefully more people will show up because it is a Saturday evening. Not a lot of people are working or at school. So, and summer's just around the corner. So hopefully more people will show up. And yeah, before we get started, I just want to remind all of you that next week on Thursday, I have planned to do Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, since it comes out on Blu-ray on Tuesday. And the reason I say I have it planned for Thursday is because I'm debating on like what day I want to do it. So I want to ask you guys right now. Zerniak. Okay. That's good to know. Thank you for that, Ryan. But anyway, I want y'all to let me know, would Thursday work better for Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, or would you prefer Friday evening? Because if I do Friday evening, that means I could see Inside Out 2 a little earlier. So just let me know in the chat. I might put it up for a vote on the community tab. That way you get a better grip on what y'all want. But anyway, yeah, this is Godzilla Minus One. We're going to get started soon. Just want to remind all of you again that I do have YouTube memberships on the channel right now. So if you want to help financially support it, if you want to help to financially support the channel, you can do so through YouTube memberships. And I have a super chat unlocked on future live streams. So Spiders Prime says Friday. Okay. We lost 2 people. That's a bummer, but whatever. Hopefully more people will show up. Spiders Prime says, I don't have Netflix, but I did see the movie back in December. That's good that you saw it in theaters, but you can also rent the movie on digital. I bought it through Vudu or Fandango Movies, whatever they call it right now. So that's how I'm watching it. And yeah, let's get this started. I still don't know how I don't know how to set up the timer for this stream since I last did the Harry Potter stuff back in 2021. But let's get this started. I am playing the movie right now. That Toho, seeing the Toho logo is like seeing the Lucasfilms logo. Godzilla's 70th anniversary production, where it's just like you get giddy over a logo of a studio. because of its connection to one specific thing. So I think for this watch party, I guess I should have said this earlier, but I don't think it matters which version of the film you watch, whether it's in color or minus color. Like, I'm watching it in color. We got our main character. Odo Island Airfield, final days of World War II. This movie looks so insane considering how little it cost. Oh yeah, have popcorn ready. When the official Godzilla Twitter and Facebook page released a pic of Godzilla Minus One saying, coming soon, I thought, oh sweet, we're getting a release date. I mean, technically we did, it just was the next day. I will still, I still never... I can't grasp the idea of kamikaze pilots. Like, why was that a mentality? What was Japan's mentality back in the day where it was like, you need to fight to the death or else you have no honor? Like, that's just so cruel. Makes me wonder if Tachibana was gonna, like, report him. Why obey in order to die honorably when the outcome is already clear? Yeah, that's a good line. That's why this movie... Well, one of many reasons why this movie won the Japanese Academy Prize for Best Screenplay. Yeah, there's part of me that wants to, like, I want to engage with all y'all as much as I can, but I also just want to enjoy the movie again. Even though I've seen it 7 times in the theater. What kind of fish are those? Like that little ball thing. Is that coming out of their mouths? Well, you beat me to it. And now, folks, here's a recreation of this moment, seeing this in a theater. Oh, shit! Like, that moment scared the hell out of me. I didn't expect Godzilla to show up that soon and in that perfect clarity. It is kind of bizarre for them to just, like, dump that so casually. Like, it's Godzilla. The islanders, native on Odo Island told me. Which, like, from a distance, it would seem kind of lazy, but it's like, dude, Godzilla's been around for 70 years. We all know who Godzilla is. I think you should direct your own movie, says Selena. I do appreciate that, but I don't think I'd be a very good director. I want to say I was spoiled of the pre-mutated Godzilla before the movie came out in America, since it came out a full month before in Japan. But even then, this sequence is really tense. Like, I feel like these mechanics just stayed where they are and not aggravated Godzilla by doing shit like that. They probably could have lived. Like, Godzilla could have just gone on his way and everything would be fine. Like, Shikishima was spared for the time being. Ooh. Now, I think that's a rule that Toho has where you can't show Godzilla actually eating people, which is probably why Godzilla doesn't eat people here. He just flings them when he bites them. Like, it's not even like 10 it's not even 10 minutes into the movie and we already got an intense Godzilla scene. Thoughts on the new director they got for Godzilla Kong 3? I've not seen the movie that he made. I think it was through Netflix. I haven't heard of the director, so I don't really know. I don't really have much of an opinion, but I will say this. I was kind of hoping that they'd get a Japanese director, but I guess that's more wishful thinking. No, the music is fantastic. It makes me wonder, like, this is the same, like, theory. This is the same question that you can bring up for Shin Godzilla. Had Shikishima shot at Godzilla in that pre-mutated state, could it have killed him? Just like in Shin Godzilla, had the helicopters fired at Godzilla when it was in its third form, would that have killed it right there? considering that Godzilla was not mutated at that point in this movie, I feel like the plain guns could have killed him. I also wonder if you watched this movie with no subtitles and you didn't understand Japanese, could you have been able to follow this movie? Because I feel like there are certain moments of visual storytelling that, without subtitles, you could have understood this movie. This actress and this character is really good. Huh? It's kind of the reverse of the 1954 movie, where in that movie the mother dies, holding her 3 kids, but this one, the mother lives and her kids die. It's like we as Americans, we know, like, I hope we know what we know about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but I don't think the Tokyo the Tokyo fire raids get talked about as much as in America, because it's just as devastating. I feel like it's just as devastating as the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. Huh. Well, I've sat here for a while. I can't leave the baby. Would it be cool if they got Edgar Wright to do Avengers 5 and 6? It would be cool. That's never going to happen after he left Marvel through creative differences with Ant-Man. So don't get your hopes up for that ever happening. Is that supposed to be rice? Or is that some sort of soup? Well, it's like who in that area of Tokyo is in a state to care for a child? I mean, the neighbors, sure, but nobody else. Like the place is entirely rubble. Ew. Sorry, there's some burnt popcorn in here. It's a horrible thought, like, that you're drafted into the military to be a kamikaze pilot. You get a letter from your parents telling you to please come home safe, knowing that, like, you're basically being sent to die. You abandon your duty to come back home, and then your parents are gone. Like war fucking sucks. Especially World War II. Yeah, so I would say this actress, she was in another movie in Japan that I saw a trailer of in front of -1. I think it was called Monster. I think it's like involves like I think it's like a coming of age story about a high school kid in Japan, and she plays the mother. But she won the Japanese Academy Prize for Best Actress for that movie, and Best Supporting Actress for this movie here. And she filmed both -1 and the other movie back to back. So you film two of the best movies in Japan at the same time, and you win the highest prize over there for both films. That's incredible. March 1946. I gotta say this. This is a nitpick, but there are points where I just don't feel the time jump. This instance, I do feel the time jump between December 1945 and then March 1946. Because Nariko looks a little bit more cleaned up. And it seems like they're in a slightly better living situation than when they first met. But there are other moments, like later on in the movie, where I don't buy the time jump. Well, Japan was in the losing side of World War II. I mean, I think you could take that. You could take that like statement any way, because Japan was part of the Axis powers with Germany in World War II. But while they were on the losing side of the war, the people were basically being treated terribly by the Imperial Army. Like, again, the concept of a kamikaze pilot alone is proof of that. I didn't like her character, but I loved her by the end of the movie. Great actress. Yeah, but the thing is, like, when her character first shows up, like, I don't see how you can dislike her, because she has every right to like be angry at Shikishima when he first shows his face back home, because, like, again, he was supposed to be a kamikaze pilot. There was that mentality of like fight to the death, and he's basically like branded a coward when he first arrives. This moment always gets a laugh from the audience when he brags about, oh, the boats I'm going to be on are specially made to avoid mines. He shows up, this is specially made, and they're both wooden ships. Like, that always gets a laugh from everyone. In your Bad Boys 4 review, will you mention the Will Smith slap controversy, and will it affect the movie's box office like the Ezra Miller controversy affect the box office of Flash? I recorded my review for Bad Boys 4. I mentioned the slap. I don't think I really mentioned the box office thing, but considering how this summer has been with the Fall Guy and Furiosa, I don't know how the box office is going to be affected, but I don't think the slap has anything to do with it, because, to be honest, I don't care about that slap anymore. Like, it's nothing even close to the shit that people like Kevin Spacey were doing. Best friend group ever. Oh yeah, like, as heavy as this movie gets, these three characters really bring a lot of the fun of the movie. Like, the crew of the Shinsuke Maru are the bring the movie's personality, or at least the lighter personality of the movie, whereas Shikishima and Noriko are the film's heart. I love it. The captain, like, claims Shikishima is just useless because he's not a sailor. And then his first try shooting a mine, he gets it. Ew, another burnt popcorn. Yeah, those are words you should never say. Yeah, nobody should ever. Yeah, it's one of these things where it's like Born on the 4th of July, where Tom Cruise's character, like, really wants to go to war and fight for his country. Then he realizes how horrible war is, and then becomes an advocate against it. He becomes a pacifist. Netflix butchered the dialogue. Made me mad. Like, why change it? Are you talking about the dub? Because I did hear some pretty bad things about the dub. Or are you talking about the subtitles? Or if they used a different batch of subtitles that they used for the theatrical release or what I'm watching right now? I think you do have the option of, if you're watching this through Netflix, I think you do have the option to watch it in Japanese. Now, this shot of Operation Crossroads, that the first time we ever see Godzilla get mutated, I wonder if they actually just digitally recreated that, or they, like, enhanced the footage of that shot, because that's an infamous shot of a nuclear bomb going off. Roland Emmerich's Godzilla used it, and Gareth Edwards' Godzilla even used that shot as well. There are parts where it looks like it's a digital recreation, but then parts of it that looks real. Now, what is this, like, this peaceful guitar music? I wonder if this was, like, part of the score, or just like a bit of a popular song from Japan. Even SpongeBob used it. I can imagine that. I feel like I may have seen that shot in a SpongeBob episode. And then the expressions to hearing, like, she's not married to you? See, I don't see America, like, putting Godzilla aside, I don't see America ever making a movie, like, with such a heartfelt story as that, huh? Like, 3 random people coming together to form a family in the aftermath of a horrible event. Yeah, faith has brought you together as a family. Accept it. Embrace it. Now we jump to a year later. Okay, this one I buy the time jump because a lot of the other houses in the area are starting to look better. And it made no sense for Noriko to just suddenly get a job the very next day after that scene. luckily you just have to walk to the next house to get your adopted daughter. Since Isabella Merced is in Alien Romulus, do you think she will ruin the movie for you because she was in Madam Web? She was one of the better parts of Madam Web, and she was the best part of Transformers: The Last Night. So no, it's kind of, that's not gonna happen. Like, if Alien Romulus does get ruined, it'll be because it's a bad movie or just relies on callbacks from the previous films. I mean, it can't be worse than Covenant. I'll say that. So this sequence, like the setup to Godzilla's reappearance, seeing this in Godzilla -1 minus color was weird because it's like, this is already black and white footage. So I'm like expecting for it to jump back to the color with the rest of the movie, and it doesn't. So 2 months later, yeah. I don't feel that, I kind of don't buy the time jump this time around between March 1947 to May 1947. Again, the special effects are just leagues beyond any, like most movies that come out in Hollywood, like The Flash, for example. There's those deep sea fish again with whatever's coming out of their mouth. Chotomate. And now the truth comes out. So it's like, yeah, sorry, Japan. One of our boats is like sunk on in your territory, but we can't do anything about it because the Russians. Yeah, because when has not telling the public about a giant monster ever worked out in a Godzilla movie? Like, the Return of Godzilla, keeping Godzilla secret almost started off a full-on war between America and the Soviet Union. Yeah, giant monsters on the way, and y'all are fighting who takes credit for the victory or not. Whew. Yeah, like okay, never mind. Let's GTFO. I love I wish I knew their actual names outside of Nora or Noda. The kid's name, because his reaction to just simply falling to the ground after seeing Godzilla grab that ship out of the ocean is so genuine. Man, this scene, like, I remember seeing it in the TV spot, and in my mind I was just like, oh, y'all are fucked. Like, you're running away from Godzilla in a tiny boat. That's not gonna do anything. But then watching the whole movie in context, this is probably the best. I said in my spoiler review, but this is the best homage to Jaws. And it's interesting that, like, the best homages to classic movies don't come from that same franchise. Like, the best homage to the trench run in Star Wars is Top Gun Maverick. Did you get it? Nope. But you sure as hell pissed him off. Bad. Tsukishima, this is no time to freeze up. Yeah, because, like, I think the actors are actually on a boat. I think they're really out in the water filming this. But, of course, Godzilla's digital. And that giant head coming up, it's like, my brain, like, it's gotta be CG, not this shot. That's obviously a CG shot. But when the head pops up just briefly before devouring the mine, and this shot coming up where we see a close-up of his jaws and the mine, it's like that shot. It's like, I know that's CG, but my brain is telling me that's a real, like, Godzilla head that they built. Ooh. Didn't Spielberg take inspiration from the original Godzilla making Jaws? I believe he did. The first time this scene happens and Godzilla, like, quickly regenerates, the audience was just in unison gasping, like, what the fuck? I know, like, we all saw Ghidorah regrow a head in Godzilla King of the Monsters, but this just has a different effect. Then this underwater shot of Godzilla swinging towards the Takao, it looks just as good as any of the underwater shots from the Monsterverse. If Minus One got a sequel, I imagine that not only Godzilla returns, but Rodan and Garrus Varan and the H-Men appear too in the 1950s. Do you think we'll... Okay, I think you retracted your comment, but I could still see it on my screen, Selena. Do you think we'll get Kong Minus One? We've gotten a lot of Kong movies that were just the same thing, huh? Yeah, a glowing blue light. We all know what's coming, but I don't think any of us were prepared for what the effect of Godzilla's atomic breath in this movie would be. And you could just see the horror in their faces when Godzilla just destroys the Takao. The third time I saw this movie, and after this sequence ended, there was a woman that just went straight up, "Oh my god." But yeah, I hope this movie gets a sequel. I mean, I don't know. There's part of me that wants a sequel just so we can get more period piece Godzilla movies. But there's also a part of me that's like, this movie's so good on its own that maybe it should be just left alone the way Shin Godzilla was. Even if Takashi Miyazaki... No, not Miyazaki. Takashi Yamazaki returns to direct. Because it's going to be a long time, and I mean a long time, if ever, that a movie comes along and tops Godzilla Minus One for best of the franchise. Even though this movie is more personal, I still feel like there's a lot of political commentary for the time this took place. Like how Japan put little like effort into the lives of their citizens and their soldiers. But it's just all told through a very personal story. And it's a perfect balancing act. Have you heard the rumors that the directors of the last two Bad Boys will direct Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4? I didn't hear that. I think they'd be a fine choice. I mean, they directed the first and last episodes of Miss Marvel, so they already have a good relationship with Marvel already. But I kind of would like them to direct a Fast and Furious movie. This scene breaks my heart. Like this scene, especially the end of the scene is like gut wrenching, and the music. I hate that the music is for this scene is not available on the actual soundtrack. sorry for the like heavy breathing. Like this scene is so heavy, for lack of a better word. Has a, that's still a very heavy scene. Thoughts on Gamera Rebirth and the Skull Island anime? I think we should like address that Skull Island animated series as an anime with quote fingers because it's as much an anime as Avatar: The Last Airbender is. But I really liked it. Gamera Rebirth, I haven't finished it because the animation is that like that same Godzilla anime trilogy style that's just it looks great for the monsters but so off-putting for the human stuff. So I still haven't finished it. Ridley Scott and James Cameron said that Alien Romulus is great, so do you have hope that the movie because of that? I'll wait and see because Ridley Scott's last few movies haven't been all that great, and James Cameron did give high praise to Terminator Genisys, and look how that turned out. I know it's pronounced Genesis, but they chose to spell it Genisys, so I'm going to call it Genisys. Yeah. Shikishima wonders if he can be happy again and actually live, and then Godzilla has to show up again. If any of you've seen the VFX reel for Godzilla Minus One after they got nominated for the Academy Award, Yamazaki says that they only had like that one side of the ship, the chains, for their set, so they had to reuse that set every time, and they couldn't build the rest of the ship. So the background there, is that like a green screen or CGI? Because obviously, like he said, they didn't have the budget to recreate the sets for every ship. It looks real. My least favorite Ghostbusters movie, Frozen Empire. Like there's just that movie just feels so soulless. Yeah. The first Godzilla movie. Sorry, there's a heart blocking. The first Godzilla movie, I'm just like, go away, Godzilla. Yeah, because you're so invested in the human characters more than any other movie in the franchise. Jurassic World Chaos Theory so far was great. I haven't watched it yet. Like I liked the first 3 seasons of Camp Cretaceous, and then the last 2 seasons weren't bad, but I don't know. They kind of lost me at the end. So, the last 2 times I saw Godzilla Minus One in theaters was at a Q&A. One was part of American Cinematheque, and the other was at a Variety event. And Yamazaki at both screenings said that they didn't have the budget to create an entire subway car, so I think that wall and the seat was was as much they could do with the set. Man, hearing that Ifukube theme when Godzilla shows up is just perfection. And I still maintain that this is the single best Godzilla Rampage scene ever. Oh yeah, because this specific like Godzilla composition is from Mothra versus Godzilla, which is not one of my favorite Godzilla movies, but it is regarded as one of the best films. So it makes sense to use a composition from that film. Which movie is worse, Madam Web or Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? And which one would you watch again? I don't like Frozen Empire at all, but I watched Frozen Empire twice over Madam Web, because Frozen Empire is at least competently made. Madam Web is inept in everything. And yeah, Godzilla Kong the New Empire is my least favorite MonsterVerse movie. Now I wonder, did Godzilla actually see those people on the building with an intent to actually whack them with his tail? Or was that just a close call? And I love at the first Q&A that I went to for Minus One, when the question was brought up of how did you know to use the Ifukube theme throughout the movie? And Yamazaki said that his composer, Noaki Sato, I think, they wanted to try to refrain from using the classic music as much as possible. And when it came to this scene, Yamazaki said, I don't believe at all. And the composer suggested they use the theme here. Yeah, Yamazaki said, I don't believe that my composer was lazy in not being able to recreate a piece of music, in trying to create an original composition for this scene. I genuinely believed him when he said, look, nothing I make is going to match what Ifukube did for this sequence. Oh, this scene. Like, just the spines popping out. Huh? And everyone looking, it's just like, well, like, on one hand, it's like, why are you all just standing watching? But then again, running's not really going to do anything. And then this moment coming up. Like, you're just like, no. Like, the second you don't even see her pushing Shikishima to the side. Just the gesture of her starting to push him into the alley. You're like, no. Oh, yeah. John Williams and Akira Ifukube are my favorite composers. It's pretty mainstream to say, but I think an argument can be made that they're the two best film composers, living or dead. These humans felt like real people than most of the human characters in the Reiwa era. I'll get back to that a little later. This shot is haunting. Where it's like, yeah, Godzilla's huge to us, but you gotta imagine how huge that cloud is compared to Godzilla. And then that black rain and Shikishima screaming in agony. So intense. And I've seen the dubbed version of that scream, and it is like, talk about sucking out all the drama and the heartbreak of that moment. But no, I like the human characters in Shin Godzilla. There's a lot of them, but I really liked not the American senator or Japanese American senator, because I don't believe for a second that character was raised in raised in the United States and is the daughter of an American politician. But the other girl as part of Rando Higuchi's team was really good. But don't lie to that girl. Don't lie to her that her mother's gone away for a bit for work. But then again, it's like, I don't know. It's like, what are you supposed to tell that girl? the 50th anniversary of Star Wars is coming up in 3 years. Do you have something special for it? I don't know what else I could do in terms of celebrating the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. But yeah, like you said in the last bit of the comment, I have time to think about it. GHQ. What does that stand for? Like, obviously, they, like, I guess it's like international forces helping them, because they mentioned that it'll just escalate Soviet and U.S. tensions. Noda, that's his name. Ow. That is one of the oldest, like, cliches in film, huh? Like, let me speak into the mic. Oh, the mic's too loud. Sorry. Yeah, Noda might be my favorite character of this bunch, huh? Well, that's not going to give them a boost of confidence. Nope, it sinks. Well, I mean, you gave him the nickname Doc, so it would make zero sense if he wasn't a bigwig captain. Will I review Ultraman Rising when it comes out? I wasn't planning on it, but I've heard really good things about it, so I might have to check it out. And I really dug Shin Ultraman. We kill it with the power of the sea. I find this plan to be so fascinating because, like, it's well thought out. Huh? Like, Noda clearly has planned, like, specific details to how it will carry out. Huh? Right down to having a plan B if plan A fails. And yet it's still full of holes and, like, what if scenarios when it plays out. But because everyone's so dedicated to, like, having the plan carry out, it would make... That's why I buy into it. I was like, well, if everyone else is buying into it, I will too, even despite its flaws. Gamera versus Godzilla, who's winning? Godzilla. Like, you saw the giant mushroom cloud that he left behind in Ginza, right? So there's no way Gamera's surviving that. And plus, Godzilla's just a dirtier fighter than Gamera. And the music is just... I know I talked about the music plenty, but the music is, like, very atmospheric. And, like, it's not overblown. It's like, hey, I'm going to jump out that window and bounce on the balloon. To quote what I said earlier, we will kill it with the power of the sea. Yeah, I think it's like four. Like, I think it's like 4 or 5 people that actually leave the room. Huh? And then everyone else is like, well, we're not being asked to fight to the death. So, yeah, let's do it. I actually never saw Gorgo from 1961. If I'm correct, I think that's a British monster movie. Even that even the even the commander is amazing. That's not how you spell commander though. Commander. But yeah, there's just so many great characters. Oh yeah, he'll come back. I just laid out the plan, didn't I? Oh yeah, autocorrect fails again. Either as a territorial competitor. No, I was gonna say, like it will either recognize the roar as a territorial competitor or a mate. Effort for trying. Really? The same director as Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Huh. Yeah, I've been meaning to check that movie out at some point. So how would this Godzilla firing his atomic breath at a small plane work out? Because it's not like other Godzillas where it's just like a simple heat ray or beam where it just stops, because it ends with a nuke going off pretty much. So would there just be a giant explosion in the sky of if he tried to hit the plane, or would the plane just like get engulfed in that giant explosion? So there's no time to be fighting. Huh? Would y'all call this a fun movie? Because it's really good, but it's also really heavy throughout. That I don't know if I don't know. Hot take, but Rampage 2018 is on par with Godzilla minus one in my opinion. That's I don't know how to respond to that. So that is yeah, I don't know how to respond to that, because it's yeah, I don't agree at all. A remake of the Giant Claw. Um I mean, like, if they remade it into an actual good movie, then perhaps. But a lot of the appeal of the Giant Claw is that it's so enjoyable for how terrible it is. Yeah, but will that person want to see you? I remember going to the theater and people saying I came here to watch a Godzilla movie. I didn't expect to cry my eyes out. Oh, yeah. Like, the best thing that can come out of this movie is that there's a much bigger appreciation for Godzilla in Japan than there ever was before. Like so many people who are not Godzilla fans love this movie, and they're like, "Oh, I get it." Like, for me, I expected this movie to be good, but it was one of those, like, holy shit, I didn't expect it to be this good. Hello, Mega Studios. Yes, I do remember you. Welcome to the stream. You son of a bitch! No, not you, Mega Studios. I'm like doing a voice for Tachibana just right before he hits Shikishima. Did I see Jeremy John's review? I don't watch Jeremy John's anymore. I know he really liked it. And he put it on his best of the year list, but he's one of those guys where I'm just like, you're doing the same thing. Like, you've been frozen in time since you first started YouTube, and I don't know. He got boring for me, and while he's not part of the fandom menace, like, he just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of him anymore, and he just seems to have. There are parts where he just seems to have an unprofessional attitude about himself, where he won't bother to look up the names of actors or characters. But if any of you'll still like him, more power to you. Like, I did meet him a couple of years back, and he's a cool guy. It's just his YouTube content is kind of tiring. Did you see it at the, like, early fan screening they did the Wednesday before the movie came out? Because that's when I first saw it, and then the very next day I saw it again. Yeah, I'm happy that Alien Romulus is going to have practical effects. It's just whether or not the movie's good. Sure. Yeah, I got that injury from falling down. You think America can ever make a Godzilla movie as good as Minus One? They cannot. They can make good Godzilla movies, but they can't make one at the level of minus one, because minus one is so particular to Japanese history, and especially their post World War II era, that like America, us as Americans will never understand. Um, See, if they used a suit, like I'm all for like if they decide to make a Godzilla movie again using suits and miniatures, but this movie, I don't think the boat chase scene would be nearly as effective if they use a suit or practical effects. So 11 a.m. The kid's like ready to go. Like he is smiling and everything. All right, great motivational speech. Let's go. Yep. True words have never been spoken. Like not having been in a war is something to be proud of. I mean, yeah, there's the notion of defending your country, but wars, I mean, I wouldn't know anything because I've thankfully never been in a war, but war is awful. I hope that like because Prey was great. Selena said, "You did like Prey, so there is a chance that you will like Alien Romulus. So I hope that's a good sign." I mean, Alien and Predator did cross over, admittedly, but they are two different franchises, started by different people altogether. So just because Prey was good does not guarantee that Alien Romulus is going to be good. But again, I'm hoping for the best. I didn't see Don't Breathe, but I'm very mixed on the director's Evil Dead remake. So I have no idea what Alien Romulus will be like. Arigato. You know, if this were earlier in the movie, considering Tsukishima said, "Akiko, I told you not to call me father," he probably would have said, "Man, you need some more drawing skills, kid." But whatever. We know what happens at the end, but the fact that like Shikishima was really considering like just killing himself to kill Godzilla and leaving Akiko orphaned again, you're just like screw you. He doesn't, thankfully. But even then, just like and then what would have happened if like, I don't know. There's just like, there's just a lot of moral questions to think about with this movie. Had characters decided something else. I might consider ranking the Alien movies when Romulus comes out. What do I prefer? Godzilla Kong the New Empire or Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? Oh, the New Empire is better than the Frozen Empire. Both are just kind of eh. Um, but I just found New Empire to be more enjoyable. Like right there, like the second we see Tachibana point to the back of the seat, we know what he's referring to, but Yamazaki, like the direction and editing is so good and knows not to linger on that moment for too long that we still question whether or not Shikishima is gonna make it back or not. Yeah, that moment, you're just like he was willing to orphan her again, and since we know Noriko survived, it's like, what would she have thought had he actually like carried out his duty as a kamikaze pilot? I actually don't know the writer. I actually didn't hear news that I heard that they got a writer for the new X-Men, for Marvel's X-Men movie, but I don't know who it is, so I have no opinion. So again, like this balcony is the only set that they have for the battleships, and that's a green screen behind them. Boy, somebody pissed Godzilla off. Yeah, because that's a green screen behind all those actors, and you wouldn't have guessed that in a million years. It's already here? Yeah, Godzilla's early. Godzilla don't play by your rules. Wait, Noriko survived? Just kidding. Yeah, if you come into like a live watch party for Godzilla minus one, or any movie, it's just like I don't know. I just love how like the effect of making that plane swerve back and forth are just a bunch of crew members pushing it back and forth on set. Because that's actually what they did, considering how small the budget for this movie was. Again, like less than $10 million, and Godzilla looks incredible, and you wouldn't even buy for a second that that's a green screen in the background. I mean, once you realize that there are no shadows on the background and the equipment as all the men are heading into position to move out, that's the giveaway that, yeah, that's a green screen. But again, you wouldn't be able to tell. Answer me, you bastard. So, all right. So every time I see this movie, every time I've seen this movie, and we get to this part where Godzilla's rampaging across the countryside, I keep telling myself, man, Godzilla's tiny. Friend group genuinely cares for each other in this movie, man. Yeah, the whole theme of this movie, like the friendship and the human spirit prevailing against impossible odds. I think that's why this movie hit harder, hit a chord with so many people. And that moment there is like, again, Yamazaki doesn't tell us what the telegram is, but unlike the ejector seat hint, I don't think anybody guessed that what happened with that, what that telegram said. Ooh, it's a close call. Like, look how, like, when we get to another long shot, like that shot, Godzilla is small, because we're so familiar with how big Godzilla is in the Monsterverse and Shin Godzilla that this one is like a little baby by comparison. But it's a baby that I wouldn't want to piss off. And the fact that, like, with the exception of the opening scene on Odo Island, all the Godzilla scenes are in broad daylight is all the more impressive. Like, yeah, we don't have the money that most movies have in Hollywood for a movie like this, but we're not afraid to show our Godzilla in clear daylight. The writer for the MCU X-Men movie is the writer for The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and Assassin's Creed. Ooh, that doesn't really fill me with confidence. Yeah, the Assassin's Creed movie was awful, and Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I actually did like, at least for the first two acts of the movie, and then the last act lost me. So I don't know how to feel about that. So how exactly did they get those first two ships to go forward? If there's nobody in them. Okay, so I didn't want to mention this earlier, but the first time we actually see Godzilla use his atomic breath in Ginza, when he reels his head back, you could see some of the plates clip each other. But you're not really focused on the reason I didn't bring that up is because you're not focused on his spines when you're focusing on Godzilla's head as he inhales. And Ifukube's back. Every time. Yeah, Ifukube's theme never fails to give me butterflies in my stomach, says Ryan. because the Godzilla theme is really one of those, like, you need to hear one note and you already know what piece of music this is. And again, for those of you that may not know this, this part of the Godzilla theme was originally the military march in the original Godzilla. So it makes that sense that this part of the theme is playing once this operation goes into effect. It's just, it wasn't until Terror of Mechagodzilla that this part of the theme actually became Godzilla's theme again. Come here, you. Like, somebody made an illustration of the final battle of Godzilla minus one in a nutshell, and it's basically Godzilla just pissed off at Shikishima that he's in the air and he can't get him. Yeah, for as slowly as Godzilla walks, he's quick. And then the main theme from King Kong versus Godzilla comes in. I also really like how the little stand that the three characters are on, it's not a set built on hydraulics. They have to act out as if they're being rocked on the boat, and then the camera is mounted on a crane to simulate the movement. There's a reason why this movie won Best VFX at the Oscars. And it also shows if you have a smaller budget for your movie, that inspires you to be more creative in terms of, hey, how can we make this work? Oh, you're fucked. Like Godzilla just staring dead at the characters, realizing, I see what's happening. Like this scene, seeing this scene for the first time in theaters, really put me on the edge of my seat, and it takes a lot for a Godzilla movie to leave me as intense as this one did. And there he goes. Again, a shot that is just as good as any of the underwater shots you see in Godzilla vs. Kong. Think bringing in the Godzilla theme would make the American movies so much better. It makes me appreciate King of the Monsters 2019 so much better. Oh yeah, at the point you're just like, Did they just kill Godzilla right there? But no, one of the things if there's any good sign to Adam Wingard not coming back for the next MonsterVerse movie, hopefully it means Tom Hulkenborg will not come back, because it still irritates me that his Godzilla theme sounds like it has the mentality of, it sounds like the Godzilla theme, but it really isn't, because we don't want to have to pay to use the real Godzilla theme. It's like, just create something wholly original. He did the same thing with Mothra in Mothra's theme in Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, where it's like, it sounds like Mothra's theme, but it actually isn't. Just come up with something new. But then again, Tom Hulkenborg's style was never going to suit Mothra ever. Yeah, like the thing again about this plan, like everyone believes in the plan, but there's so many other scenarios where you're like, everything that went wrong with this plan went wrong. And you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, how are they going to get out of this? And now that they lost a crane. There's that real sense of hopelessness in the air. Until it's like, hey, we weren't veterans. We didn't serve in the war, but this is still our country as well. We're going to help fight for the future of it. If you get the rights to the characters, why not the theme? I think that might be a Toho issue. It's like, because like you may get the rights to the characters, to the certain monsters, but that doesn't mean you automatically get the rights to the music that accompanies them. So, because I think that may have been the reason why the Godzilla theme doesn't appear in Godzilla Unleashed, because it was like, because I guess Pipeworks had to go, well, do we want to try to pay to get more monsters in the game or the Godzilla music? There he is. And Godzilla is like, when he pops up after fighting all the pressure and decompression, like he looks, I don't think I've ever seen a Godzilla look, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a Godzilla look as pissed off or as angry as Godzilla right here. The use of silence here is just brilliant. Because like everyone's panicking or just accepting that they've lost. So they're just kind of preparing until like you figured the movie has to have a happy ending, but you're not really sure if Shikishima's actually going to, well, if you caught him briefly ejecting there. Um, Every time I see this movie, people always applaud that moment, realizing that he ejected. I really love that, like, they give Tachibana a character arc where it's like, yeah, he blames Shikishima for the death of all those mechanics in his platoon, but like everyone, but then he comes to the end, it's like, he shouldn't have to die to stop Godzilla. I think this might be the only time anybody's ever, as in the audience, has ever been happy to see Godzilla die. Feel like I had to. Yeah, Ryan gets the idea. You can't see it on the playback down here, but it's the salute emoji in the chat. Like, this movie is so emotional. Like, whether it's Shikishima breaking down to Noriko, like his past, and him fleeing his duty, to the atomic breath sequence in Ginza, to this moment where like everyone prevailed against impossible odds. Everyone prevails, and then this realization here. I truly did not see that coming. I mean, there is the old rule in movies where it's like, if you don't see the body, then that means the character's not dead. And we didn't see Noriko's body, but I don't know how she would have survived. But yeah, that last line, is your war over? Hate that they butchered that in the dub, where she says, "Can this war of yours finally be over?" Yeah, there's part of me that's like, it feels like that's a cop-out to her living, but I don't care. Like, I want to see that happy ending, even with that on her neck. But of course, in the style of GMK, Godzilla never actually dies. Godzilla -1. Yeah, it's going to be tough for any other movie in this decade to beat -1 as my favorite, because I don't normally say this, but when I walked out of -1 after seeing it for the first time, it felt like this is going to sound corny, but it felt like a life-changing event. Like, for a franchise that has endured 70 years, and for what many people to consider the best of the series to come out on its 70th anniversary, it's a remarkable achievement, which is going to make it all the more interesting when I rewatch Godzilla Kong: The New Empire next week with you guys, because you can't compare both movies because they're drastically different, but we all know that Godzilla Kong: The New Empire just pales in comparison to this. So yeah, that does it for my live watch party for Godzilla Minus One. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to put a poll in the chat, not in the chat, in my community tab here on YouTube, on whether or not you want me to do the Godzilla Kong: The New Empire watch party on Thursday evening or Friday evening. I know one person has said Friday might be better, so I'm just going to put that up as a poll and leave it to you guys to decide. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. If y'all are watching this on post, if you're watching this like after it's been recorded, I thank you all for joining me in the past. And then anyway, just make sure to if you're not a subscriber here on YouTube, make sure to go ahead and do so. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. For future videos, you can hit the bell button down below to get notifications. If you want to help support the channel even more, you can do that via YouTube memberships. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Letterboxd, and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. Alexander Robinson Travel Channel is the name. I'll see you all guys next time. And until then, have a good day and take care of yourself.